Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be going over all of the tips, all of the tricks, all of the stuff that you need to know in order to smash out 100% in this month's monthly event quest, Massacre and the Mercs for money. Now, in comparison to a couple of the last months, we had the Uncollected Thanos last month, and the month before we had the Uncollected Guillotine. The general consensus is that overall, this month's event is a little bit easier than those 2 months. If you struggled the last couple of months, it's good news for you, because it's a little bit easier. However, one of the things that has really changed for this month's event quest is that there are a lot of linked paths, so it feels a lot more like kind of an Act 5 chapter than some of maybe the previous monthly events, and I think embedded in some of the paths there are certain fights, especially toward the final chapter, that you need to be quite prepared for, or you might run the risk of getting stuck at those fights. So there are some quite annoying regeneration fights, especially with the Buffet Kingpin in Chapter 3, where I heard a lot of people are getting stuck at that dude. But we have some interesting strategy to get around there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to, before we go into every single chapter and talk about, all the stuff that you need to be potentially aware of, and how to build a team, and what characters that you might need to specifically consider bringing to deal with various fights, I want to highlight kind of the top 6 champions that I believe are the MVP for this month's event, characters which are some of the best options. Although a lot of the demigod tier and god tier champions work, I think these 6 are really, really effective for dealing with a lot of the big pains in this month's event. So we have first off, Dr. Voodoo, so incredibly good for the rage paths. Archangel, who's amazing for so many of the regeneration paths and quite a few fights here and there. Blade, who is also very, very good for dealing with some of the annoying regeneration stuff. Stark Spidey, who's great for the final gold pool, also very good for a lot of fighting in general. Then we've got Star-Lord, who is great for getting past the big regeneration blocks. And also Void, who is good for getting past the regeneration blocks as well, and especially for that final gold pool, if you get lucky with the timing, you can make it so that you've got the massive regeneration reversal right as gold pool gets his regeneration, and he just goes straight in the ground. So I think those are the 6 MVPs, but for example, on the free-to-play account, we did 100% with the setup of Luke Cage, Medusa, Unawakened, Scarlet Witch, Unawakened Hawkeye, and the final character was 6-star Rocket Raccoon, so we didn't need to use any god tiers to get it down 100%. And on the free-to-play account as well, we only used 2 revives, and those were both the gold pool, man, because he's incredibly fun and interactive at various points. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's start talking through the chapters and let you know what you need to be prepared for. So again, as I was saying earlier, the kind of difficult stuff and the roadblocks don't really come into the till the final 3 quests. The first 3 are fairly straightforward to deal with, although the linked and noted path in the first quest is a little bit annoying. So this is a common path that you're going to see in this month's event quest, which is all champions, but the class that has the disadvantage reduce their attack by 50%. So yeah, I wouldn't really worry too much about this node. It's just one of those really annoying 5.3 nodes that makes the fight quite a bit longer. Just bring the champion with the best utility, the best matchup for this one. And I do think that the biggest pain in the ass, maybe in this chapter, is probably that Infinity War Iron Man to deal with. But if you're not already fully savvy at fighting Infinity War Iron Man, type in how to heavy attack counter Seatin, and that'll give you all the strategy to make that dude your bitch. And then finally we have, Domino as the final boss here. Domino's super, super easy to deal with here. Again, if you want to get the parries and you want to know how to fight Domino, we have a video on that on the channel as well. But she has dash vulnerability, which essentially means, I think this node is bugged, so pretty much all the time you're dealing 200% additional damage. So if you bring a high damage output champion here, she's dead in 10-15 hits. It's really, really quick and easy to deal with for the most part. So yeah, there's nothing else too much of interest. The first chapter is very, very straightforward to deal with. And then we have the second quest, which is the Massacre one. And both of the new characters, man, are in the first and second chapter. But Massacre is super, super easy to fight for the most part. And there's nothing too special going on with his paths. One of his paths is actually really, really easy because it's a flare path. And then you just have, I think, It's like explosive personality and then maybe resistor or something like that. Okay, that's the flare path there. So what is that? That's explosive personality, and is this one the resistor path? Yes, it's nothing too much to worry about or deal with there. With Massacre, The easiest way to fight this dude, because he has stun resistance, is just bring in a skill champion, because skill champions have 125% additional attack, and just continually, like, bait out his special one, and just do that over and over again, because also this dude has 100% power gain, but the special one, once you get into a nice rhythm and rotation of it, it's just a case of, like, bait it out, just outrange it, wait for the second group of swipes that he does, and then go straight back in afterwards, and he becomes very, very easy to fight. And failing that, you can fully evade Massacre's special too. You just need to be pretty quick on the gunshot blast and when he initially throws his gun. So yeah, it's not too bad to deal with at all. First chapter is fairly straightforward once you're used to both of the new characters. And then we have the third chapter, who, again, there aren't too many problems here. I think Gladiator Hulk, you know, can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but there is a gimped buffet node on this one, so every 7 seconds, if you trigger a buff, it's going to regenerate the opponent 5% of their max health, and this is the gimped one, so in the later chapters, it actually becomes 10%, which is a bit more annoying to deal with, but the 5% one, you can pretty much get through that with, like, any champion, but just bring a high damage output one, and then finally, the final boss here is, what is it, Classic Deadpool with Power Shield, and also power reserve as well. So I think the best strategy for dealing with this dude, to be honest, is just bring a champion that has a very, very hard-hitting special 2 attack, and if it deals on average about 20,000 on a crit, so somebody like a Rocket Raccoon, a Star-Lord, a Scarlet Witch, a Storm, I've no idea how I got a dungeon invite there, but yeah, just throw it off, and then you should deal enough damage, because you're going to have 400% additional damage multiplier, to actually just one-shot this dude. So yeah, on the free-to-play account, I just brought Rocket Raccoon, just fired off a special 2, just died in one hit, and on the main account, I believe I used Corvus for this man, but pretty much any character with a really, really hard-hitting special 2 is a way to go about it, but you can also go for Heal Block Champion, and take it a little bit slower. You can go for a full Power Lock Champion as well. There are many, many solutions to that Deadpool there. And next up, we have the Hood chapter, which is where some of the annoying the annoying fights start to come in. So the two kind of big ones that are really, really annoying to deal with, at least in my experience here, is the Masochism Spider-Man. So every 7 seconds, the next debuff on Spider-Man is going to be removed, and it will immediately regenerate 5% of his max health, so it makes him very, very annoying to debuff. But yeah, if you got Killmonger, it's a dream come true there. If not, you probably just want to go for your highest damage output champion. That's pretty much it for the most part, but that Spider-Man is a bit of a pain in the ass to deal with there. And then you'll have to fight a Masochism Blade 4 times. So yeah, again, just your highest damage output champion, and try to bait out as many heavy attacks on Blade as possible. That's probably the best way to go about it. And then finally, you have Hood as the final boss here, who has double power gain and special 2 bias, but you can you know, reliably bait out the special 1 on Hood, so it's either the strategy if you want to bring a very, very high damage output champion and just like 5 combo, bait out the special 1, rinse and repeat, or you want to bring a champion like Dr. Octopus, like Magic, that has kind of full power control potential. So yeah, just either one of those two will work, but ideally, yeah, you want an effective power locker, or just a high damage output champion and just bait the special 1 and win the video game. But yeah, Hood isn't too bad to deal with, man, just standard, never get him to his special 2 raw applies there. And then we have chapter 3, which is where stuff starts to get a bit of a pain in the ass, because there are like 3 paths in this specific Venompour chapter, which I've seen be a massive annoyance to some people. So the first one really starts on this Rage path here with Green Goblin. So Rage caps the amount of damage the opponent can take by 2.5% of their max health in a single hit. So your hard-hitting champions won't do much here. You want to bring high damage output champions, high damage over time output champions. So ideally, Archangel is really, really good for this, or a champion like Dr. Voodoo that can take these stacks of Rage and turn them into poison. So yeah, either one of those champions, Dr. Voodoo, Archangel, really, really good there. Like, Void's pretty decent for Rage as well, but Scarlet Witch, Morningstar also work very, very well. And the two really annoying Rage fights, Green Goblin, and also Nightcrawler. You also have Red Hulk and Psylocke on the Rage path, but they're not too bad to deal with at all. So yeah, just be aware if you're going to the end and you're taking Green Goblin and Nightcrawler, like Archangel or Voodoo are very, very good champions for both of those. But also, going past this, what is it, Green Goblin as well, you get ported down to Ant-Man, so you have to do that Green Goblin twice. Now, on this path here, we have the Vigor node, which means that every 15 seconds after the start of the fight, the defender regenerates 50% of their base health over 5 seconds. The timer refreshes when the defender reaches intervals of 25% missing health. So yeah, ideally here you want to bring a heal block champion or a very, very high damage output champion, because the biggest annoyance here really is going to be the Ant-Man. He is the cause for the biggest concern. On the free-to-play account, I used my Hawkeye, and it was super, super clutch getting this boy down. But yeah, either somebody like a Gwenpool, a Blade, an Archangel is really, really good for this, or Void if you want to, you know, guarantee that you're going to get that reversal going deeper into the fight. All very, very good options there. And then we come to, again, one of the more annoying paths, which I think links over here this time. So yeah, one of the biggest annoyances out of the whole 100% Uncollected is this buffet path here. So this is the stacked buffet path, which has 10% whenever you trigger a buff. And I think the really, really annoying champions to fight are Black Panther Civil War and also Kingpin. So Kingpin, you either want to bring a really, really heavy damage over time, damage output champion. Doesn't need to be damage over time. Don't know why I said that. So somebody like a Star-Lord, an Archangel, if you get lucky, if you manage to get a neurotoxin stick, will work very well against this Kingpin. On the free-to-play account, I used Hawkeye and just kept him in the corner, and if you are having trouble getting this dude down, try to fully block as many special ones as you can, or evade at the intervals where it's not going to trigger dexterity. So it takes a little bit of practice and getting used to, but if you want to check out the free-to-play stream, we got him down with Hawkeye, and just a lot of keeping this dude in the corner, and a lot of blocking the special ones there. But yeah, with a 550 4-star Hawkeye, it took about, I think it's like 140 hits, but yeah, Blade is just an absolute MVP for dealing with this Kingpin, because you're going to have increased damage, you're also going to reduce the chance of buffet proccing. So yeah, Blade is just a godsend for that Kingpin. And Black Panther Civil War, yeah, just make sure you have a heal block champion, or just heavy damage output champion. And then you have Venompool as the final boss. You need to keep in mind that below 25%, all of his attacks are going to be unblockable, so ideally you want to have a plan to nuke him pretty hard after that, but he also has adaptive, so as the fight goes on, he's going to be getting more physical and more energy resistance. But you can use this to, you know, Venompool's disadvantage with characters like Dr. Voodoo, with characters like Venompool flipping these debuffs against him. But yeah, a bit of a pain in the ass, because Venompool can also randomly gain Unstoppable, which is super, super fun. So yeah, just to be potentially aware for that. But apart from that, none of the paths are too much hassle in this one, to be fair. You might see a Dormammu here, but this Dormammu has life transfer on him, so he's super, super easy. There is also a Bane path to keep in mind, but Bane, you know, isn't too bad to deal with. You know, it's just kind of play well against Bane for the most part. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have the final Goldpool chapter, and Goldpool himself is a super, super annoying fight, because randomly, he has the Chaos node on him, so randomly, whenever you throw a special attack, or whenever he throws a special attack, he can gain Unstoppable for like 15 seconds, so it's super annoying. You could throw off a special too, and then he could gain Unstoppable and just hit you straight after it before you have any time to react, so that really does suck. But a way to avoid that is, you know, never throw any specials on your character. And also at 35% and 15% against Goldpool, he's going to regenerate quite significantly, a lot more at 15%, especially because he has the enhanced recovery node as well. So yeah, heal block champions or just big damage output champions. Again, Void is just an MVP character for this, but Star-Lord can also be quite good, providing you don't get screwed over by that wonderful combo. And Scarlet Witch as well, pretty decent. However, you cannot poison this Goldpool here, so it's important to bear in mind that characters like Archangel and Dr. Voodoo, they're not going to be too useful against the Goldpool. But then in terms of what else we have, so before every single gold pool, you're going to have to fight MODOK. Now, a way to fight MODOK with any character, which we demonstrate a lot on the free-to-play live stream yesterday, is just to parry and then do a 4 combo and just rinse and repeat and just constantly be evading those special ones. But yeah, there are a lot of good solutions to MODOK. Like if you got Blade, Archangel, it's going to be a very, very easy time. Killmonger as well. But failing that, just, you know, parry, get 4 hits in, so a medium triple light combo, and just parry again, rinse and repeat, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't too bad to deal with. But then I guess some fights of you know, potential annoyance and interest. Really, I think the 2 most annoying ones are probably this Nightcrawler up here, who has that first chapter node of all champions apart from skill reduce their attack by 50%, plus this Nightcrawler is really, really stacked as well. So yeah, ideally you just want to bring an Archangel to this to deal with a Nightcrawler as quickly as possible and effectively as possible. But yeah, just any champion against this Nightcrawler, parry, do a medium, light, medium, free combo, and yeah, you can just rinse and repeat that. And then we have Taskmaster, who is super, super annoying to fight because this dude has both brute force and also the split atom node as well. I believe actually, yeah, the Nightcrawler has brute force as well. So yeah, you're gonna have to fight this Taskmaster for quite some time, and you just want a champion that has some really, really big damage output that's on the character. So like Starkadon, Spider-Man, Blade as well, because Taskmaster is a villain, or Star-Lord are 3 really, really good recommendations for dealing with Taskmaster very quickly and very effectively. But yeah, Taskmaster, it's gonna get to a point after, you know, for every debuff he takes, it reduces the potency of the next one by 10%. So after 10 parries or bleeds, he's going to be immune to debuffs. So yeah, you just want to bait out heavy attacks, bait out that special too. It really is standard Taskmaster fighting, but again, this one is going to be jacked up because all champions but Science reduce their attack by 50%, and yeah, I guess you could bring Void here as well, but he's probably going to be about the same as bringing like a Blade or a, you know, a Star-Lord, Starkadon, Spider-Man, so I don't really need to worry about that too much. And aside from that, there's nothing too special. There's also Dormammu over the right-hand side who has Bane, but again, that isn't too bad to deal with. Yellow Jacket over here who has minus 50% attack, same with Kingpin as well, and then we have a couple of power shield lanes which are super, super easy to deal with down here. So yeah, it's not too bad all in all, and really nothing that's anywhere close to the level of annoyance that the Uncollected Guillotine was, man, because that fight sucks so badly. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, overall, not too bad in terms of the difficulty of this month's Uncollected event quest. But let me know, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments below if we have missed out anything, or if you have any other, like, super, super good champion recommendations. I think actually 2 more for Gold Pool that spring to mind just now is both Captain America Infinity War for getting rid of that Unstoppable, and also Hood for providing the Fate Seal pretty much all of the time on Gold Deadpool, especially considering he also has the adaptive node there. You can really feed off the Mystic Dispersion, so that can help to reduce some of the BS as well, if you are having a lot of frustration with the Unstoppable there. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if there is anything we've missed, anything you want to add on to this video, leave them in the comments below. That'd be greatly appreciated. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the Uncollected tips and tricks video. It's been like 17 minutes of me just rattling off as much knowledge as I can throw down, and that's pretty much all of what these videos are for the most part. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to give it a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.